Hey y'all, I'm back with another Cephalid Breakfast video, and in this video I'm going to be trying a deck list that I think is pretty cool. Since the ban of Nadu, it's been really challenging to know what exactly to play instead of Nadu. There was the Eternal Weekend top 4 list that featured Murktide Regent that I played on the channel. Didn't go very well, but obviously the Eternal Weekend result was really outstanding. And Murktide Regent is definitely a very powerful card. There's also been some attempts with Stoneforge Mystic, using Kaldra as a non-graveyard juke, which I do like that. I like having something that doesn't involve the graveyard. But none of those things feel like they're on the same level as Nadu. And this is something that I think might be a little bit closer to that feeling. And that is 3 copies of Katara Waterbending Master. Now, this card can really get out of control and snowball into a huge advantage. You can, by just casting a couple of spells, start drawing 2 extra cards every turn, binning things like Dread Return, which I've already done in my test league with this. I got 1 Katara attack trigger in that league, and I was able to discard Dread Return, which allowed me to win the game. And simply put another snowball-y threat out that needs to be answered or will take over the game. Now, Katara does come with some deck building constraints that I think are important. And that is an extra emphasis on instant speed interaction. So there's 3 copies of Daze, which is pretty high. 2, I think, is pretty standard, sometimes even 1 or none. And 4 Swords to Plowshares with only 1 Prismatic Ending in the sideboard. Prismatic Ending is, of course, a sorcery. There's also the 4 Tamiyo. Since Nadu is banned, it really feels like, why would you go down beneath 4 Tamiyo? It's a really threatening card. And then in the sideboard, an additional level of juke-style gameplay is offered with 2 copies of Barrowgoyf. And in order to allow that, I went up 1 additional black source. People were talking about that in Discord. So I have a scrub land in addition to an Undercity Sewers and Underground Sea. But it does feel nice since seemingly all breakfast lists have been on 2 black sources to actually leverage that to our advantage with actual strong black cards. Cabal Therapy is really not worth, I think, having 2 black lands and exposing yourself to Wasteland. Same thing with the ability to hardcast Dread Return, to hardcast Surgical. So actually using those for something like Barrowgoyf feels productive. This is totally untested. This is going to be my first time trying Barrowgoyf in the sideboard. So we'll see how that goes. But I am pretty optimistic about this list. I 4-1'd earlier in my test league with Katara, and I really like the card. I've played against it and been impressed by it, and so hopefully it'll do some cool stuff in this league. All right, I'm on the draw in the first match with a nice keepable hand. It looks like a Tamiyo game plan. Got the Scrubland right away. Scrubland is basically equivalent now to Savannah. From the Nadu days, and I really did like Savannah. I remember there was some initial testing of double basic island instead of Savannah when going up to 4 Tamiyo, but it seems like people went back to having Savannah, myself included. So my opponent is up to some sort of energy strategy. Another land is great. I probably will force to protect Tamiyo, especially if they have like Ocelot Pride or something. Tamiyo will completely blank that, though eventually I'll have to worry about the attack trigger from Guide of Souls making like a 3/4. So I am not going to worry about the Ocelot Pride. I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to force to protect Tamiyo. Wow, they're on 1 land. Saga is nice, though I'm likely going to be committing to a fetch land this turn. And my opponent, I think, is in trouble if they're going to miss many more land drops. All right, bunch more lands, so I can put back the scrub land, and I can put back, I guess, any one of these. I'll put back Marsh Flats. And Flooded Strand still is the only land that can get basic plains out of all of this. So I'm going to keep the Ponder, as that is my blue card. I don't really want to risk that. So I will just be getting a Surveil land off of this Meticulous Archive, almost certainly. Another Guide of Souls. So I think this is actually a Force of Will right here, because I don't want the energy getting super out of hand. And if they're on one land, which they must be because I'm sure they would want to play around days, I'm starting to sense Tamiyo Ultimate as a plan here. And if they're able to get another energy, then they have something that can attack. I don't need any more lands. Ooh, Swords is great. That probably will, if I had to imagine, clinch the game. So I'll plus. I don't need the Swords this now. I'll wait for them to spend this mana. And I'll crack the Clue in addition to casting Swords. All right, another land. Okay, Amped Raptor. So I'll crack the Clue in response. And then I think what I'm actually going to do is let this resolve. Let them get their point here. Let them spend this energy. And then plow this thing in combat. Now they could also make a big thing here because they're going to have 5 energy. So, okay, but it looks like Ocelot Pride is getting cast. And that's totally fine. So I actually think the play here is just not let them go to combat with a Guide of Souls. They get to keep the energy, but the thing is, if they're smart, they'll put the counters on one of these cats, and then still next turn threaten that again. So I think that not letting them spend that energy is ideal. And then next turn I have this construct coming, and of course Amped Raptor has first strike, so I could get it to be a 2/2, but that wouldn't be super significant. I also don't even really need to block the Amped Raptor in order to ultimate the Tamiyo. Hopefully they don't have like Static Prison or something like that. That would stink. All right, they played a Silent Clearing, so they could draw a card if they didn't get what they wanted. Goblin Bombardment would also be really good. It's a lot of things they can have here. Thoughtseize, sure. All lands. I hope this was a Thoughtseize for information before they concede. So seeing as this now just has 1 power, I will go ahead and make a construct and block. If they have something like Orcish Bowmasters, that would be really good. And unfortunately they do. But I'll still get to clear this. I get to start making more constructs. Man, another land. So as things stand, they don't really have anything going on if I keep plussing the Tamiyo. If I minus, they can attack with a whole bunch of cats. 1, 2, 3, 4. They could potentially kill Tamiyo next turn if they have a removal spell. So I like just continuing to plus Tamiyo and just see what happens. And if I ever draw anything good, I could maybe win the game. So that Wasteland stinks. But it's not the end of the world. Like, as the board stands, I'm pretty okay with just plussing Tamiyo. Ooh, a Ajani is good. If they're able to get the Ajani dead and flip it, that'll be troublesome. So now they're just baiting an attack. They're all 0/1s, so why would I block? Gonna have to do better than that. Katara. It's another blocker. Unfortunately, with a handful of lands, Katara doesn't look that great. I think I just have to play out Katara, play a land that can be a Surveil land, and just keep plussing. And now I don't really have to worry about this thing attacking. Like the Tamiyo would just lose 1 loyalty, and it's got so much loyalty. Okay, they sack the clearing to draw a card. And another play to be made here. Another Amped Raptor, sure. Revealing Swords. Swords is fine. And Swords and Katara also fine. So they're tapped out, 1 card in hand. They really just have 1 attack. Definitely not going to block. Let them flip their Ajani. Get Undercity Sewers. I could Brainstorm. I could like minus Swords the Bowmaster, cast Brainstorm. Yeah, I think I need to do that. And then trust in the Brainstorm to get me something good. So I will get back Swords. Tamiyo is still on 9. I just feel like I have to make something happen here. Oh, that was really bad. So I'll play out the Narcomoeba, and I think I'll just hold Cabal Therapy for now. That was an atrocious Brainstorm. So as long as I can keep the Tamiyo alive and not have to block a cat, I'll feel good. Okay, my opponent Thoughtseize is me. That's fine. And now I think they pretty much have to swing out. They could swing with just the cats. The only thing I think they can't swing with is a Johnny. Though it looks like they are willing to do that. I see. Okay. Well, man, I probably would have Cabal Therapy and named... let's see. I would have named Swords to Plowshares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's no way to save Tamiyo, so it's fine. Tamiyo's dead. And I'm going to be dead very soon as well if I can't draw something good. And this is where I really miss Nadu. Like, I would have found Cephalid or Nadu by now. Like, if Katara was a Nadu, for instance, and we would just be done with this game and on to the next one. Okay, I can Swords a Johnny. Get 1 more draw step here if they don't draw like Goblin Bombardment. Sure, that's irrelevant. Don't think it really does anything to block. So yeah, just go to 2 and hopefully top deck Cephalid. Oh, come on, man. All right. I suppose I could have kept plussing on Tamiyo. So I do like Barrowgoyf in this matchup. Hydroblast seems good as well. I think I'll take out some Ponders and maybe a couple Dazes. All right, yeah, they can keep this, I guess. I mean, it's got the 2 threats, the Tamiyo and the Katara, but not that great otherwise, so hopefully Tamiyo will stick around. All right, Guide of Souls. So Tamiyo will get to untap. And I think it's worth it to get the Katara down this turn. So we get basic planes. Now another thing I wonder with a deck list like this is if I could get rid of a Narcomoeba. I think 3 Narcomoeba is a sad number to have. And if there's lots of creatures to play out, then like that might feel redundant. Okay, Voice of Victory, that's really good against Katara, obviously. And really good in combination with Guide of Souls. Barrowgoyf, okay, that's kind of something. So I can block one of the tokens. Doesn't really matter that much, but if they have something like all of these things are going to do 1 damage to Katara, so. Okay, now Voice of Victory is real big. Yeah, it's just going to get bigger each turn. This is such a good combo, these 2 cards. Cabal Therapy, kind of brutal. Maybe they'll name Dread Return. They should probably name Cephalid. Maybe Brainstorm. Okay, that's A relief that they missed on the Cabal Therapy. And now it's a tough choice in the flashback. Maybe with Dread Return in hand, they name Barrowgoyf, but I do have Cabal Therapy. Yeah, they name Barrowgoyf. Well, I still think I should fetch Undercity Sewers because hardcasting Dread Return might be how I have to win. This Katara just looks awful this game. Get Undercity Sewers. Don't want Hydroblast. Another Cephalid, pretty bad. I could flip Tamiyo if they don't have anything and if I get a land. Flip Tamiyo doesn't look great in the face of Voice of Victory, but see if they have Bowmaster. They do, from the looks of it. Sure. Hydroblast. Great. This looks really bad. If I top deck Nomads, maybe I have a chance next turn. I think that Wasteland is checkmate. It'll just depend on if they might not attack with Bowmaster. Like, I'll just see where my life. I'm too lazy to do the math, but like my only out is Brainstorm, so I have to be able to survive 3 Bowmaster pings. I could have held back Tamiyo. Okay, giving the Bowmaster the flying there is pretty good. So I'll just see if I'm still alive after this. I should still be alive, but yeah, I'm at 1, so I'm gonna concede. Because, yeah, so to not die, I would need to combo off. So I'm just missing too much, and I can't survive the Brainstorm. Good games. Random on the play. Yeah, I'll keep. Not a lot going on here, but... And I don't think I'm supposed to hold up Force of Will. I think I'm supposed to play out Tamiyo. My opponent mulled to 6. Doesn't really scream combo like any deck can mull to 6. Verdant Catacombs pass. Interesting. Blue card is great. I think I like just going plains. Pass here. Crack the clue. Next turn I can flip Tamiyo if I choose. Let's just see what they're up to over there. Undercity Sewers. So this could be Dimir Tempo. Dimir Reanimator. Storm. Cool. Alright, glad to have Force of Will. Okay. Playing a Petal Out suggests they might be going for it. I guess just playing Brainstorm around days. Well, every turn that I get to use this Tamiyo is going to be very good. I like another Force. Can I get another blue card? No such luck, and that was a pretty bad draw. So I'll crack the clue. I'll play Saga, crack the clue, holding up blue, and I'll consider flipping the Tamiyo. My opponent could be a Bowmaster deck. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I doubt it. Well, I'm not going to force Bowmaster. Okay, they're just getting a Surveil land. They want an F6 or something like that. If this Ponder finds any blue card, I have double Force Up and Tamiyo has flipped. If it doesn't, I have 1 Force Up and I can minus and get Force of Will back. I think it's worth the risk. There we go. Alright, this game looks pretty good. Defense grid. Well, I have to force that. Pitch the Tamiyo. They could Veil. I would have to force that. Yeah, force that. They could have another Veil. And now if they have like Echo, then, well, that's how it is. But I do have another blue card coming. And then the next card is Dread Return, so I need to play the Marsh Flats. So -3, pick up Force of Will. I love being able to do stuff like this against combo decks. Play out the Marsh Flats, I can get a Surveil. I don't need to cast Brainstorm. I mean, I'd like to be able to cast Brainstorm. I hope they don't really make me use Force of Will this turn. Burning Wish, I think I'm going to allow. and plan on countering whatever they get from this. It could be like Echo of Eons that they get. Could just be a Thoughtseize, in which case, like, it would have the same effect. And they know they need a Thoughtseize. They know I have Force of Will held up, so I think that's most likely what they get. So might as well just make them cash this in for a Thoughtseize and take one of my cards rather than taking two by forcing the Burning Wish. Okay, I get a Beseech. Interesting. So make a construct. Surveil. I guess I'll get Undercity. Don't need another land. If I draw a blue card, I could Brainstorm with the Saga on the stack. That would be ideal. I think I have to not risk it here. I will hold up Swords, as Swordsing a construct could keep me alive if they are able to go off next turn. And then if they do take the next turn to, say, Thoughtseize me, I can minus the Tamiyo again, provided I don't misclick here. Okay, so got Force of Will held up. I know one of their cards is Beseech the Mirror. Okay, Dark Ritual. I'll allow that. Ooh, Runehorde Hellkite. I guess I can Swords this. Yeah, that's fine. I think I did make a land drop last turn. Yeah, I could have another Saga going, so playing pretty loose, unfortunately. I think since I have the Tamiyo minus, I'm going to cast Brainstorm. Okay, can just win the game here. And looks like my opponent is making me go through it. No, okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess the missing the land drop didn't really matter here, but still very loose. All right, against Storm, I definitely like these Hydroblasts and Flusterstorm, all these blue cards, really. And Katara seems pretty good in this. Surgical. I don't really think Ghost Vacuum is good enough. There's usually, like, if they have Gaia's Blessing, or rather, Gaia's Will, it's usually not a single card that's going to break that up, but I'll consider it. I'll see what my cuts are. Despite Swords being good there, I don't anticipate that's going to be good again. These are the sorts of matches where I usually used to cut Tamiyo, but now I wonder about that. It probably is a cut. I don't see anything else I want to cut. And with still 2 more cuts, I think I can cut Cabal Therapy and the Plains. And actually, if I'm cutting Cabal Therapy, I'll just cut a Narcomoeba instead. Alright, this hand will do. If they have me turn 1, then they got me. They are keeping 7. Okay. So that means I get to hold up both Consign and Daze. And I get to fetch dual lands, so the difference between Scalding Tarn and Flooded Strand doesn't really matter here. I'll play the Tarn and pass. Hopefully they still don't make me use anything this turn because I want to be able to Brainstorm next turn. Okay, this is nice. Don't think they have any significant end step plays. So I can afford to get Archive here. Yeah, that's a sideboard card. So I'll Brainstorm. They're fetching here. All day is a Bowmaster for sure. They're Brainstorming. Maybe they think I have Bowmaster. Alright, that's nice. Let's put back a couple dual lands. I'll hold the Ponder for this turn, so I can hold up Consign. And if I really had to expend all my resources, then Ponder would have to be the pitch card to Force of Negation. Okay, opponent is storming off here. Yeah. Yeah. It would suck if they had the Runehorde, but at this point they can do it no matter what. No. Can't let you have this. Daze doesn't look amazing here. Like, if they had Dark Ritual Beseech, Daze wouldn't really get the job done. I think I'll pitch the Daze to force a negation. Okay. Gamble, sure. Looks like we are going to both get new 7-card hands. I can Surgical LED. Shame they still have one, though, in play. It was good of them not to crack that. Storm's already lethal. All right, you got an Echo. Yep, the hand's pretty good. I don't think they'll be able to win through this. Of course, they could just have Tendrils right now. Force, Pitch, Ponder. Petal, sure. Brainstorm, sure. Hoping they get like Burning Wish, Crack LED in response. That would be ideal. All right, passing. And I can Surveil here under City Sewers. I guess, no, I think I want to find more like counter spells and then just use the vomiting card advantage of Katara. So I will play Katara and pass here, holding up Hydroblast, Daze, and possibly, if they do nothing, just Brainstorming. Put a card on top. Okay, the storming off continues. Defense Grid, I guess I have to Brainstorm in response to that and hope to find Force of Will. But at least I get a trigger here, which also makes the Brainstorming on end step worse. Okay. Well, they are going to get to do their thing. I can also Daze this right now. Maybe that keeps them off of like Hardcast Echo. All right, Veil of Summer is fine. I wasn't going to be able to really counter anything anyway because this was going to resolve. I could also Surgical right now. I know I'm just building Storm for them. I think with Defense Grid, it's okay to Surgical Brainstorm. Okay, I think I'm just dead. Because now they just go Dark Ritual. Yeah, I'm just dead. Well, it was worth a try. Alright, my opponent got there with the Tendrils. So have to hope for better luck in game 3. Barrowgoyf is also interesting because it gains life. But don't think I want it. Sure, I'll keep this. I could Cabal Therapy them right away. Name like Lion's Eye Diamond or something like that. I think I will do that. And I know I am taking myself off white. Okay, I missed on it, and hand's pretty good. I assume they are not going to tap out a Veil of Summer, so I can't flash back the therapy. All right, Force is nice, though they have the Veil and the Defense Grid. Missing on another combo piece is not nice. I honestly could have probably put Force of Will back, because they're going to have the Defense Grid backed by Veil of Summer here, so I think it just is what it is, yeah. So I just have to hope, like, they don't have a lot of action. Get Meticulous Archive. Narcomoeba enters. It's been a while since I've had that happen. Okay, Nomads is really good. I actually can Cabal Therapy them now, because they, with Defense Grid up, they cannot Veil. So I'll go to combat, swing with Narcomoeba. Now I am down a Narcomoeba, so this is my only spare. And this only works because I found Nomads. But I think taking them off Burning Wish here is going to be really good. Okay. They do have Beseech, but they're kind of far away from... Well, I guess they could Beseech next turn. Get like Song of Creation, but then they might be tapped out. I don't need to worry about Shuko because they have Boseiju. I don't need to worry about Katara. So it's just Nomads. So if they didn't draw mana, they could Beseech and get Song of Creation, but they wouldn't be able to go off. And they don't have sufficient things in their graveyard to do like a Gaia's Will. So I think they're just a little short here. Now, if they happen to play Cabal Therapy, which I don't think they do, they don't seem to have creatures, that could be pretty nutty. But see what happens here. Okay, they're passing. They have one unknown card. I really doubt that it interacts with me. I will keep anything on top that's not a graveyard, not something that must be in my graveyard. So Consign, I'll absolutely keep that and try to win. All right. Yeah, awesome. They scoop it up right away. Yeah, this still feels like a good matchup. I can't say that any matchup feels as good as it used to, but these fast combo decks, I still, you know, have a lot of forces and blue interaction for them. All right, on the play for match 3. Sure, kind of slow, but I'll keep it. Another kind of iffy Katara in a hand that has no instance at all. I'll play Misty Rainforest, probably get a Surveil land. If I get Undercity Sewers, I'll have all my colors. No play from my opponent. Really nice. I think I still just get Meticulous Archive. I don't need Undercity Sewers. I don't need another Cephalid. Ooh, Nomads. How about I play the first Cephalid? Could eat Days, but that's fine. I'm going to save Katara for last, especially when I don't have any like instants. Though I might on their next turn, on my next turn, play Katara out sort of as bait. I guess this could be Bowmaster Strix, all right. That's pretty good against a Katara. Would love Days. I think Days or Brainstorm would be my 2 best draws. Sewers. Great. I could also play Katara without making my land drop if they Daze it, play Nomads. I like that. Well, I think I should try Nomads. Force Pitch Ponder is a reasonable trade. Don't think I'm going to offer the Illusionist as a trade. Though it's kind of reasonable because I think they need to hold this back to stop Katara. Though I keep flooding out, so... I also wonder if these new breakfast decks don't need as many lands. There's like no 3-drops really. So seems like maybe you could go down a land. I have found myself routinely flooding out. Yeah, Bowmaster is really good. All right, my opponent is continuing to play. This is like Grixis control maybe. In this December season, I am reminded of the MTG Remy Classic. It's beginning to look a lot like Grixis. All right, Tamiyo is not half bad. And I would kill for just any sort of action. Dread Return. Is there any chance Dread Return is actually a top here? Like, I really don't want this game going much longer. I can actually hardcast it even around Days, and even if I were to get Wastelanded, though I don't think this deck plays Wasteland. I could get back. I could play Cephalid now. Dread Return back to Nomads next turn. This is really weird, but I think I'm going to leave this on top. And I'm going to play Cephalid. And by playing Cephalid, now, like, if they remove Cephalid, the Dread Return goes away. If they don't remove it, then maybe I'll win. Kind of hard to imagine, but like the longer this game goes, the less favored I feel. And I already feel quite unfavored, to be totally honest. All right, they're doing Kolaghan's command, so I will lose the Dread Return. And I have to discard Flooded Strand, which is not a huge deal. And they bolt for Tamiyo. It's looking pretty bad. This Katara has been bad again. I think there they could have attacked with Baleful Strix. Oh my god, a land. I guess I'll just hold the land. If I draw Brainstorm, I can put it back. Shouldered Edict, sure. That thing was doing absolutely nothing. All right, my opponent did not shuffle. They did Thoughtseize me. So, it's a good example. If you're not the type of person who sandbags lands, like, you can definitely get a lot of good value off of that. days. I guess I'll go one more turn. I don't really see this game panning out. All right. Well, my opponent's clock is pretty slow. It's about the one redeeming thing right now. And if they did have hardcast Force of Will, I actually do have the days, so. Swords, okay, that can clear Bowmaster. I think I'll do that in their upkeep. Or if they fetch a Surveil land. Shame I don't still have Katara in play, actually. Alright, this really slow clock is giving me a window. Ponder, good. I guess I'll take the Cephalid. And then I can activate the Cephalid to clear the bad cards off top. If they did Force of Will, now I have the days. Shoulder's Edict, sure. So now I have to draw those cards. The Narcomoeba can at least make them think about attacks. Alright. I'll scoop to the Kaito knowing I'm drawing terrible cards for the next 2 turns. Yeah, this is another really bad feeling matchup with no Nadu. Hydroblast could be good. Flusterstorm could be good. I don't know about Prismatic Ending. I think I'm honestly just going to cut the graveyard stuff. Let's see what this looks like with none of these cards in. I would need 7 extra things. Keep Shuko's in for the sake of constructs. Yeah. So this is a very transformative approach. I just think this deck's going to have my number if I present a deck that has Narcomoebas and Dread Return in it. Alright, this hand looks really good. I'll keep it. So definitely want to just go Tamiyo turn 1. I wish I had days to protect it, but honestly I might protect it with a Force of Will. Looks like, yeah. I am going to protect it with Force of Will. This Tamiyo is like how I plan to win the game. Oh, now I draw days. Well, they could have something that's dazeable next turn. I will probably draw the card now. I'll wait on that because that could like bait Bowmaster. I'm also holding up Bowmaster for what it's worth. Well, I'll draw a card in response, but looks like now, well, I think I'm just all in on this Tamiyo. Maybe I've just made a mistake and I'm like doubling down on that mistake. The old me with Nadu would never have cared this much about a Tamiyo. Sure. If I draw a land, I can flip it next turn. I still have to worry about Edict. I don't know why I fetched Basic Mountain. It makes me think maybe they're playing Blood Moon. But Basic Mountain is like not... The red source is not what you would have to worry about. Alright. I will continue to play around Bowmaster by drawing the card. If I ponder into a land, I could flip Tamiyo, but I don't think I'll worry about that. I'm just going to draw the card, play the sewers. Alright, Katara will be a nice follow-up. And yes, I will keep Brainstorm on top for sure. Okay, fine. You got me. And I'll play Katara holding up swords. Bring to dust my Force of Will, that's fine. Kind of glad to see them using that just to cantrip. Barrowgoyf, sure. Alright, you got Force of Will. Oh my god, that's so sweet. Don't think I really want Needle. So that'll probably be what I discard to Katara here. Yes. Oh, so good. And I think I'll cast the Ponder and hold the Brainstorm. Ah, that's a shuffle. Force of Will. I will attempt to force the Murktide. They could Pyroblast. Or just have Bolt or something like that. Okay, so now I get to draw 2 cards next turn. Shuko, pretty bad. But I'll get to discard it. Yes. So I can Surveil. If they play another threat, I can Swords it. And then I would have 3 experience counters. So this is some top-notch Katara here. And if they just have nothing, like every turn that they can't remove it, I just continue to spiral out of control with the card advantage. And they're incentivized to play a creature out here because they need to put something in the way of it so that it can't just attack forever. Yeah. Sad. Get Meticulous Archive. Don't want another land. Make a construct. They could Bowmaster this. That'd be pretty good. All right. I'll hold the swords for now. Force of Negation will be nice in a turn. I think I will just get Ghost Vacuum. And I don't have to zap that Cling to Dust right away. I don't know. I guess I will. I would think if they had like a Snapcaster Mage, but I think it's worth it to just go for it now. And now if I flood out, I can get back Katara, and then I still have the experience counters. Sure, I definitely can answer Barrowgoyf, and I'm glad I didn't just blow the swords on the Bowmaster. I will untap because then I'll have Force of Negation. Okay. I guess I'll keep holding back with the construct. So they play land. They are attacking. So they probably have Kaido. That would suck. I don't know. I guess I just have to let them. Like, swordsing this token is really bad, especially because they could just cast Kaito. So I'll take the trade of the Bowmaster for the Kaito. They probably have to start by minusing to kill my thing. No, they're surveilling. 2 cards on top. Set this Bowmaster. Another land. So I'll attack Kaito. If they can't address my construct, it just means they get 1 more turn of Kaito. That wouldn't be that bad. They can also plus it, but if they're plussing, they're not drawing cards. There was a brief moment where I felt favored. Cling to Dust the swords. So I'll just exile. Oh, I misclicked and got Tamiyo, so. Alright, I guess I get to draw a card for free. Sure. Okay, plussing with the Kaito. That's still a losing proposition in the long run. Bowmaster is really good. Price of Progress. Well, I have to force that or I'm dead. And I'll swords this. Shame I gave them an extra card by accidentally hitting my Tamiyo. Alright, well, I'll force the block here. Barrowgoyf was excellent. That was kind of what I needed. So I'll exile their stupid Cling to Dust. Cast this. Hopefully they're not holding Shoulder's Edict. That would be really sad. And I can F6. Again. So now it's looking pretty rough. I think my best draw is actually a land. So that I can get the Ghost Vacuum ultimate. If I don't draw another creature, I'm completely dead because next turn they just minus, kill my construct, or tap down my construct. Alright, a land, and one that doesn't put me dead to bolt is kind of nice. So now I can hit the Kaito, and now they can put it down to 1 loyalty. I guess I should have gone to combat. Yeah, I'm playing this game really, really pathetically. But next turn I can chump. I think my life total is just so low though now. Like, I don't think there's any chance that I will get them dead before they like top deck a bolt. Or 2. I guess they've already cast 2. Strix, sure. Strix will die right away. And I think I'm just throwing the Orc Army in front of it. Surveilling, but they don't draw a card. And then I can send all of these, and Tamiyo is actually a 1/1, so like, it's pretty good. I would love to see the other Barrowgoyf. And Tamiyo can actually make these constructs quite large. Another Saga is pretty good. I'll hold back the Bowmaster, but I will attack Kaito with both of these. Alright, Kaito's down. Play out Urza Saga. Bowmaster. I guess I'm going to crack the clue in response. Ponder. Sure. I mean, they're undoubtedly going to kill my Bowmaster. Their Bowmaster, really. So my best bet is that I can put enough pressure on them with constructs. And these are going to get pretty big pretty fast. Hopefully they don't have a card like Meltdown. He's pretty pathetic. And I think I just have to get Shuko. I can equip it to Tamiyo. These are going to be 5/5s. I'm sure they'll chump. No chumping. Interesting. I don't think I'm going to cast Ponder. Oh, I wish I still had that Bowmaster in play. And now the basics make sense. I was just thinking about that price of progress. So I hope that's just a one of. I am dead to so many things. And I'm sure they have 4 bolts, and there's only 26 cards, I guess 28 cards after they put 2 back. Like, they're going to start seeing the rest of these bolts soon. If I draw swords, that wouldn't be bad. I could swords my own construct to stay alive. But I need to be very vigilant in my life total. Kolaghan's Command. Destroy an artifact. And then 2 damage to me, I guess. Yeah. If their last card kills a construct, I'm just dead. But if not, they're dead. If they have another Kolaghan's Command, I have days. So I have to block this. I mean, I'm dead to another Bowmaster no matter what. Oh my god. Yeah, that kills me. Good game. Right, I'm on the play. Yeah, this is fine. Kind of sucks to have the double surveils. I'll start off with Undercity Sewers. Opponent's on a mold of 5. Saga's fine. I think I will play the Archive. I'll play Tamiyo. This could get dazed, but I don't know. 5 cards in hand. Head to mold of 5. And then I'll play Archive. I think I like Katara. Like, this looks like a really great game for Katara, right? All these instants. Ooh. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll go to combat. I do think this card, like, there's going to be a shell for Katara that's really busted. I think this card is going to be archetype defining in some way in Legacy. Awesome. I'm just going to swords theirs now. Redirect lightning, that's pretty cool. Force of will that. Alright. That'll flip Tamiyo by default if it lives. Alright, well it won't live, but still got Tamiyo. And I think against the plow deck, it's worth the risk to brainstorm. If I don't get a land and get locked, I can always crack a clue to work through that. I could have bolt. Alright, just scoops it up to that. Yeah. Mold of 5 was rough. Alright, well this Katara mirror is pretty cool. I guess I saw red, so maybe these cards are all good. I'll relax on the dazes, and I think this Katara mirror, I don't know, might not end how I want it. Maybe I want to go 3 dazes. Yeah, I'll just take the Kataras out. Seems nice. Got the combo. Grand. What is this? When this becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. Am I really gonna swords Gran? Probably, yeah. I mean, this was just a better play. You can have the Gran. I wonder if this deck will actually have lesson cards. You kind of don't need to for Gran to be good. Discarding the redundant Gran. I guess I'm glad I didn't swords it. Yep, so I'll get to push the damage. That's fine. I'll brainstorm into the days that they could have. Alright. Play Nomads. And I'm not going to protect Nomads. I have Urza Saga. I don't understand how an army of nomadic soldiers can't block a Grand without dying, but I guess that's Magic the Gathering for you. All right, Nomads lives. Okay. Cast Cephalid. Probably gonna get a removal spell on Nomads. Maybe a Pyroblast. I think it's worth forcing this. Consider. Sure. Yeah, you can see how well built this deck is to capitalize on... All right. To capitalize on Katara, like, everything's an instant. Like, I don't even know if this deck runs Ponder. I don't remember from the last game. But this deck will definitely be better suited to handle or to support Katara. And that's sort of where I am with this breakfast list, is I'm not sure if it really supports Katara enough. Like, I think you both want to be able to protect it really well with counter magic, but also you want to be able to have instants at the ready at all times. So probably a much smaller suite of creatures. Put him on the play for the last round. Risky, but definitely going to keep this. I'll go Island Shuko. My opponent mulled to 6. Wouldn't mind having something to daze here. Like a Chalice, sure. Definitely gonna daze Chalice. Hopefully they don't have like a Simian Spirit Guide. Sweet. Can't win this turn. If I top deck the land, that'll be a bit of a punish. Tamiyo, though. That's good. If they have another Chalice, that's still really good for them. Interesting decision for the opponent here of what to take. I'd probably take the Brainstorm. Okay, they took the safe route. I guess that's fair. They'll be able to do work on the Tamiyo. And I do have to Brainstorm. Okay, another Cephalid. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to play around another Thought-Knot Seer. I think I will. Which means I'll be in trouble if they have like Wastscape Battle Mage. But there's nothing here. Like, they have the mana to play another Thought-Knot Seer. And that has to be more abundant. So I will tuck the Cephalid. Fleshraker, good. Petal. Now they can cast Wastscape. Okay. Hard to imagine that Eldrazi Linebreaker would be a relief, but it kind of is. And I don't think I'm dead this turn. If their last card is Kozilek's Command, though, they got me. And looks like they're going out of their way to kill Tamiyo. Alright. Can I have a win? They're F6. Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of how Eldrazi goes. Like, either I just have a quick combo like I did in this game, and they don't really have much of a shot against it, or they chalice me, and then, you know, it seems like every Eldrazi game I play is quite one-sided. I do like Barrowgoyf quite a lot to help with this matchup. Consigned to Memory, obviously, and though they are a creature deck, I like Force of Negation. I just can't have them get a Chalice. That's too backbreaking, especially when I'm on a list with only one Prismatic Ending. So 7 cuts to me are Ponders and Tamiyos, and I'll give it a go. All right, yeah, unexciting, but keepable hand. Got the Force, got Consign. Looks like I'll be using that Force right away. Pitch Narcomoeba. Another Force is great. Sadly, I'll probably have to pitch the Thassa's Oracle next. Gonna consign this. Saga. I will cast Brainstorm. Okay. So I'm probably playing an Urza's Saga game, which means I can have Force Pitch Thassa's Oracle plus Consign. So I'll put these back. I'll play Flooded Strand. I'll get really punished, though, if I have to use Consign this turn. So hopefully they don't have anything too strong. I could see a Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah. I'll force it. I do think I want redundant copies of Saga. And now, because I did that, I can draw all of them. Because I won't have to fetch Saga, even if I wanted to replicate Consign. Disruptor Flute. Probably going to name Urza Saga, and I've sculpted my whole game plan around being able to play Urza Saga. So I will even play another one out. I'll probably hold the last one, but I want to get the show on the road. I can now Surveil with Flooded Strand. Okay. Have like a line breaker now. A single Wastegate Battle Mage is not the worst. Or Eldrazi Repurposer, even less scary. Get Meticulous Archive. Swords looks... Oh! I didn't make a freaking construct, my god. Oh, that was so unbelievably bad. I've played very loosely. And it's embarrassing. I don't think I can swords that. Oh, that could be a game-losing mistake. Like, I could have 2-4... I could have a 3-3, or a 5-4, and a 4-5 right now. Chalice on 2, sure. Daze looks pretty sad here. Get another Shuko. God, I could be pushing so much more damage than I already have. This game would definitely be over. All right, no blocks. Land was pretty good. Yeah, they have to block. I will push damage. I mean, they would definitely be dead right now if I had just made that construct. So that's just kind of pathetic. Daze will actually be countered by a Chalice, which is funny. Okay, they're just, yeah. Going out strong with 3 Ancient Tombs. So I was able to secure the positive record there. Good games to all my opponents. Yeah, let me look back at this deck list. So here's the deck. The big question for this league was, how was Katara gonna be? And the one game where it got down in the Grixis control one, and I got a couple attack triggers, those were really good, but it wasn't good enough. I did lose that game, and I did have a misclick there that gave them a card. I really played quite loosely this whole league, which is embarrassing, but like maybe that could have been enough to secure that game between the attack triggers of this card and my tighter play. But as it stands, I did lose that game. Then I did win the game where it against Harain, where he had mulled 5, but I was able to both swords and force a will on his turn, so that I was going to get 2 attack triggers. And then I'm pretty sure the game ended before I even got to resolve that. But that was a game where Katara looked really good. I'm definitely optimistic about Katara. I want to keep trying it. I'm not sure what else to do. I could see Breakfast benefiting from a Consider, like that list had, and like some Dimir Tempo lists with Katara have had. I mean, it's a little bit more like Doomsday, and you know, we are both Thassa's Oracle decks, so maybe that is something that Breakfast could leverage. I do really want to cut a Narcomoeba. I think that if I'm going to have all of these other creatures like Katara and Tamiyo, and the fact that you can combo out with 2 anyway, I think that feels preferable. And it could even be possible to cut Cabal Therapy and have, you know, only good cards. That does sound a little blasphemous, because Cabal Therapy, if used well while comboing off, is really good. It also can be an outlet to discard Dread Return, but maybe now Katara could be that outlet. Or discard your Thassa's Oracle, whatever it is. So this feels like an acceptable rough draft. This is a little different from the list I played earlier to a 4-1, but I think I do prefer this. I would love to even see more Barrowgoyfs, like a 3rd Barrowgoyf. So yeah, I like but don't love where this is. It's definitely an interesting time to be playing Cephalid Breakfast, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. None of them are as good as Nadu. There will never be another Nadu, but it's time to move on and figure out how to make this deck super viable and consistent and consistently great. So anyway, that's definitely part of my plan for the coming months, is to figure out how best to do that. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.